Hi everyone, I'm Rob Ladd, and this is the Cavalier Sports Report, where we sit down with head coaches and players from Johnson County Community College to take an inside look at Cavalier athletics. Today our guest is track and field coach Mike Bloemker. Coach Bloemker, thanks for being with us this morning.
Good to be here.
You guys had a pretty busy week last week. You had two different meets go on during the same days. We'll start off with the KU relays, kind of recap KU for us, and then we'll move on to the mule relays at Central Missouri State.
Well, we got things going Thursday night at Kansas Relays. They do the Distance Carnival, and traditionally the KU relays, CMSU relays for us is the big long distance weekend. Try to get everybody qualified if we can. And things got off to a good start Thursday night. We had Adrian Marquez run 32 minutes for 10K and qualified. Josh Lacer qualified in the 10K. He kind of just got in by the skin of his teeth, but he got in. And then Temery Mir got in the women's 10K. So really important. We can only really run those races twice during the year. We either run them at KU, CMSU, or we'll put some people in it at regionals and hope to qualify them. But the window's kind of tight, just recovery-wise between nationals. So this is the big one. If you're going to run this at nationals and do well, you got to qualify this weekend. So Thursday night we got off to a really good start. We came back Friday morning at KU Relays with Devon Lockhart in the hurdles. He struggled a little in the 110s, but got through. Chelsea Moreland threw at KU and qualified in the javelin. We were really excited about that. Our high jumpers struggled a little bit Friday afternoon, and then we got going down at CMSU. CMSU went really well. Carly Long's back from injury from indoor track and qualified in the women's hammer first throw. And then we went straight out to the track, and we had some great performances. Probably the highlight of the night was Nathan Sloniker in the men's 10K. He basically ran all alone. The race strung out real fast, and he qualified for nationals by a long way. Ran 32:34 for 10K, which is a pretty good time for a freshman. Had some other great performances. Aubrey Rogers missed qualifying by 3/4 of a second in the women's 5K. Kayla Harris just barely missed. She was right behind Aubrey in the women's 5. Emily Tysick and Michelle Smith ran the 800. And a unique thing for community colleges, we run the 4x800 relay at nationals, and you can composite the times based on your 4 best 800 meter times from your 4 best individuals. Well, those two, they ran fast enough that we now were able to composite our women's team in. Our women's 4x8 was actually just 1 second off qualifying from indoor nationals. So overall, really pleased. Chelsea Kiefer qualified in the women's 400 intermediate hurdles. So basically, we had a whole bunch of people really get the job done. Came back at KU Relays the next day with Philip Butler in the long jump. Philip struggled, had a couple of fouls, had a couple of good jumps, but as mark he got, it just wasn't quite long enough. So he struggled a little there. Jeff Woods threw in the men's disc Saturday afternoon. I thought Jeff threw well, he was just a little off. He's struggling with the leg injury he's got. So overall, really successful weekend.
Now, track is probably the only sport at the college where you're going to have dueling meets, and you've got to kind of split up not only the team but also the coaching staff. How do you decide which coaches go where and which athletes to send to which events?
Part of it is, some of it is KU, they accept limited entries, so some athletes get in, some don't. CMSU, it's open. Typically, I'll take and go with the bulk of the team. So, if we've got 30 kids at one place, I'm going to be there with them. CMSU, traditionally, we've always tried to run the women's steeple, men's steeple, and load up in the 5K and 10K down there. So, obviously that's my event area, so I'm going to end up going down there. Sometimes it's just transportation issues. We need to get guys. We got so many athletes going one place, we're going to have to split the coaching staff. So we decided this weekend we'd have Coach Groves go to KU. Our high jumpers were already qualified, and our javelin thrower was really trying to get in, which it turned out it worked out well because Chelsea got in.
Fantastic. Now, this next week, you basically have a clean slate. You don't have any events scheduled now until Saturday, April 30th. So what do you do when you've got a dead week like this? How do you keep your athletes prepared?
Actually, it's probably better for the athletes. This really gets to be a grind. We're middle distance runner heavy on the team, and they've been going since the 1st of August, mid-August, and they start getting a little tired. Sometimes off weekends are good for everybody. I even think in our throws areas it's pretty good. The only thing we might do is we might try and find a local meet and get our female steeplers back out on the track. So we had 3 of them just barely missed qualifying for nationals. So I think we might be able to get that done before Arkansas next week.
So that'll be, now you'll try and get a local event in, but they will still have an opportunity to qualify for nationals at Arkansas, is that correct?
Every track meet we run at, they're going to have an opportunity to qualify for nationals. And I think it's May 15th, we'll go down to Emporia for the last chance meet, and we'll probably have people qualify at the very, very last minute for nationals like we did in indoor. We had 5 people qualify for indoor nationals 6 days out from the event. So this usually goes right down to the wire.
Well, and I know that's kind of it's a year-round deal for you, so I know you're used to it. Thanks for being with us this morning, and we'll look to catch up with you next week and see if we can preview the upcoming event.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.